So this video is a little bit more about me and just um, some facts, like random things about me as a person, and just getting to know a little bit more about me. I might make a more specific video more about my collection, or like this does have like relevant doll stuff, but like more specifically about how I collect and like what it's like recollecting because I collected when I was a kid, but recollecting as an adult is a little different for obvious reasons. But yeah, this is just a little bit more about me, not so much as a Q&A, just some random facts and things that I'd like to mention. So first, my family. I have three siblings. My brother is 17. He'll be 18 next month. He's trans, and we're like really close. We used to be like inseparable when we were kids. When I moved away from college. We kind of haven't really been as close, but we're still pretty close. I talk to him pretty much every day. When we have time, we do talk a little more often, but I do talk to him at least once a day. My parents divorced shortly after I turned 17. They separated uh, whenever COVID started in March of 2020 after my 17th birthday. And then I believe it was my sister's birthday, my 12-year-old sister. I also have a little 8-year-old brother. But when my sister turned 12 was when they actually officially got divorced, like the divorce was finalized. But they've been separated for a little over a month. I think, yeah, a little over a month. See, it was either, I think it was a year, actually. It was like the year after their separation was when the divorce was finalized. So it was April of 2021 when my parents actually got divorced. But anyway, I lived in Western Kentucky all my life. At this point, I do live in Eastern Kentucky for college, but I have lived in Western Kentucky all my life. I grew up in Owensboro, Kentucky. That's where I'm from. And yeah, I am going home this weekend to visit my family and whatnot. So yeah, um, I grew up Catholic. I was raised in a predominantly Catholic household. My mom was Catholic. My mom and dad were both raised Catholic. Most of their family members were still Catholic. Not so much my dad. My dad had a few Catholic family members, but most of my dad's family members were not practicing, but they were still Catholic. They just didn't practice. So dealing with my dad's family was a little more tolerable, but my dad was still Catholic. So that also obviously affected me when I came out as bi. My parents weren't exactly super happy about it. And yeah, they realized that my brother's Pan, they realized that we were both um, queer, and they weren't exactly the happiest. My mom is very, she's not upset about it anymore. She's pretty cool with it. She's also cool with my brother being trans. She's trying at least. She is not like perfect at it, but she is trying with the pronouns a little more than my dad. My dad, his current girlfriend, fiance, is evangelical, so he's still pretty not okay with it. But he's gotten over the queer thing, but he's still not okay with being trans with my brother. Anyway, um, yeah, it's a little bit about my family. Some random facts about me. I'm a psychology major in a rising junior in university. I'll be a junior next year. Just finished my sophomore year. So next year I will be a junior. I'm demisexual, so I have to have like an emotional connection with a person before I'm like attracted to them, which is just a random fact. I don't really fully understand the whole concept of being demisexual, but um yeah. As a kid, I would have a crush on like any boy that I thought was cute. And yeah, but like now I like have to, you know, be emotionally connected to them before I'm attracted to them physically. But anyway, yeah, I'm Demi. I'd love to go to Europe. That's one place I really want to travel to. I haven't been out of the country at all. I've been to Tennessee, Missouri, Texas, Indiana. I've been to a few places growing up, but I've never been outside of the country. And I want to go to Europe because I love the historical Renaissance. I love the Renaissance and just history in general. I'd love to see Italy and like all of the art from the Renaissance that's in Italy. I think that would be really cool to see. Just in general, I think that Italy would just be really fun. And yeah, I'd also want to go to Germany. Um, I took a Holocaust class my sophomore year of high school, and even though that was obviously a heartbreaking class, I would love to see the museum, the Holocaust Memorial. I think that that would be really fun. Not fun, but interesting to see because I know a little bit about World War II and just the Holocaust in general, and I think that it'd be interesting to see the memorial and like see it up close. But yeah, I have 4 tattoos. Um, I have posted a few of my tattoos on my Instagram. If you follow me on there, I got my first one in October of 2022, the one on my arm. It's a snake with a pomegranate. I got it because of mythology. One of my favorite books at the time was Promises and Pomegranates. This is a Greek mythology retelling of Hades and Persephone. And I really liked that book. And I just, not so much as like, obviously it was really toxic, but I loved mythology. I had a mythology class. Also, I think it was my freshman or sophomore year of high school. I don't really remember. But I had a mythology class, and I really loved that class. I had that teacher again in my English class. But I really loved the mythology class. I thought it was. I've never seen Percy Jackson. I've never read the books. I've never watched the like movie or whatever. Percy Jackson just never interested me. But I just loved mythology in general, and thought that I really liked the book. So yeah, I got a mythology tattoo. It's my first one. I got it in red. I thought about getting one on my I wanted my first one to be on my collarbone. It was like, well, not my collarbone, but like below the like, I wanted my first one to be like near my cleavage, but I was just like not. I was like, ugh, kind of scared me. So I got it on my arm, and obviously my tattoo does go on my collarbone, so it's obviously was a really painful spot. But yeah, I have 4 tattoos now, and the other 3 were a piece of cake after that one. Obviously, really time consuming. Like the 2 tigers I have were like 3 hours long each. I think 2 or 3 hours. I don't really remember the exact time. But yeah, they took a while. I love alternative and like indie pop music, like alternative pop and indie pop. I really love Halsey. Halsey was I took AP Lit in high school, and Halsey was what really inspired my writing seriously. Like I used to be a writer when I was a kid, and I would like write like short stories randomly. I really liked writing stories about Christmas, like characters doing like in Christmas and like getting ready for Christmas. I don't know why. I don't know what it was about the holiday season that I thought was really interesting for my short stories. But I really liked just characters and Christmas and just. But Halsey, I wrote a analysis essay or like a song, and we had to write like analysis of about songs and like just analyze the song. I think it was AP Lang. Yeah, AP Lang, and it was like virtual. We were doing virtual AP Lang. It was like a hybrid virtual kind of thing. So I had to do an essay, and I did it over her song Castle. And I like incorporated Castle and colors, and I don't remember all the other songs, but it was like what really drove my imagery and like descriptions of my writing. And I just thought that was Halsey really like inspired my writing. So I had to listen to that album to like and analyze because I liked Halsey, so I was like, oh, I'll just analyze her, and it that really like made me want to write books more books that I actually enjoyed. That was when I wrote my first book on Wattpad that like I actually enjoyed. So yeah, more about that soon. More about my hobbies. But yeah, so with my hobbies, I love dog photography. Obviously, I post a lot of dog photography on my Instagram, and I'm not exactly. I don't think I'm awesome at it. Obviously, my dog photography is pretty rusty, pretty new at it. But I think all in all that it's really doll photography is what really gets me into like collecting and like I enjoy taking pictures of them, especially nature pictures, like dressing them and taking pictures. Dressing my dolls is just one of my favorite parts about collecting them. I love buying their clothes and like putting them in clothes every season and dressing them. And just ever since I got into making doll jewelry too, I've been loving like putting doll jewelry with their outfits and like making them doll jewelry to match what they're wearing. Yeah, it's been really fun. Um, Obviously, I love writing. I like using descriptive writing and just describing things with a lot of imagery. Just way too much description for my own good. I've been writing on Wattpad since I was 15. Most of my books have not been great at all. They've been pretty, like the books I've written in the past, I have since deleted. But I have written a few books that I still have on there that I'm not really much of a fan of, but for some reason they get a lot of traction with like my followers, I guess. Like just random people that read it. I don't really understand. I mean, those books were like, I wouldn't say bad. They just weren't my best. But after my parents separated, and just when we was when I really decided to, when I got into writing my first book that I actually liked. It's called Tattooed Illusions, and it's like it was a book inspired by another book I've read on Wattpad. I don't remember the name of it, but the book that wrote it was like a boarding, not really a boarding school, but like they stay, I guess, boarding school, boarding school of mainly composed of delinquents that have to like have a lot of mental disorders that they just have to like deal with, and like it's just basically about how they deal with the mental health, and just um, there's a lot of drug use and alcoholism and just trauma that they have to deal with, and grow as people. That was my first book that I actually enjoyed, and what like stemmed my love of writing. I actually got into writing again, and like more seriously, I wasn't just like writing like random short stories. I actually liked my writing and didn't like completely just hate every word I wrote, and it just was just. I wrote the book in the span of a few months. I think it was I think it was like a month. I think I wrote that book in like November of 2021. I think, and it was like a book that I wrote in the span of a month, which I was really proud of myself for. That has since not happened very often, me writing books that fast. But I really loved that book, and I thought that it was one of my best. I like reading, especially dark romance. And even though I haven't really read in a while, I've been kind of in a slump. Like I have to like really like a book to like get through it now for some reason. I've been like kind of in a slump. I've just like not really been into reading the books that I have, or just any. I had a Kindle Unlimited subscription last year, but I have since not wanting. I didn't think it was worth it to pay for it anymore if I wasn't gonna like actually read the books that I had. So I have read a lot of dark romance books. Obviously, most of them were pretty. I would never like condone the relationships described in those books. Obviously, they were not a model for relationships in general. They were obviously very toxic, but I thought that the books in themselves were. I just liked the genre that they had. I like cop shows, just like Blue Bloods. I watched Blue Bloods when I was younger, and since rewatched it this year, recently, I got back into watching the show. I thought it was over. Like honestly, I think I thought I finished it like last year, and I was like, oh, it's over. And then I realized they had another season, so I was like, oh, I still have to watch this season. I have since finished that season. I don't know if like the show's done, but anyway, I I haven't really watched very many cop shows. I used to really like Law and Order. I still like the SVU version. Me and my boyfriend watch the SVU version like pretty much every day. Um, but I never actually watched. I watched the actual version, but I thought that was really boring and didn't like the same plot point. Obviously, SVU has a similar plot point, but I feel like they actually have a story going on throughout the like plot points that have different like plots throughout the series that it's more watchable. I also like comedy sitcoms, which are really different from cop shows. Obviously, I used to love Friends. Like I've rewatched Friends like twice. It was like a childhood nostalgia thing for me because my dad used to watch Friends, and I would like sit in the room and also watch it. So like recently, um whenever he got a HBO Max a couple years ago, when I was still living at home, we would watch Friends like all together, and we would just like binge it. My brother did not like anything after season like 5. but I loved all of it. I also love Young Sheldon. Like, I used to love Young Sheldon. I didn't really get into Big Bang Theory, but I thought Young Sheldon was really watchable for some reason, even though I never really watched The Big Bang. Watched a couple episodes, but like that was about it. But I really like Young Sheldon. I'm sad that they're ending it. Obviously, I understand why, but Loki kind of excited for the Mandy and Georgie spinoff. I also love Criminal Minds. I watched it for Spencer Reed. I thought Spencer Reed was hot, and I watched, I think, everything up to season 12. I didn't really like season 12. I didn't like the personal storyline. But yeah. So, my childhood collection. Kit was my first doll. I got her for Christmas. I think I was 6. I don't remember the exact age I was. I think I was 5 or 6 when I got Kit. But I was young. She was like my first doll. And I got Kit and I got a bed that my grandmother made the bedding. My grandmother made like bedding for us and like clothes when we were growing up. Like that was like something she gave us like every Christmas, every birthday. She would give us clothes for bedding. She would make us like new beds. I had pajamas for all of my dolls that she's made. Well, some of them were my live brand, but most of them she made. She made like pajamas, gave them buttons, robes. Um, and for a while, I wanted to get into sewing. That didn't really turn out well because I tried to sew and then I just kind of wasn't really good at it. Might try to pick that up eventually again, but yeah, Kit was my first doll. I didn't At the time I didn't really realize how expensive American Girl dolls were, and I didn't realize how like financially not well off my parents were. Obviously, they found a way to get these dolls for me and my brother growing up, but they obviously did not. It wasn't easy for them, and I didn't really realize that as a kid how expensive they were. Ivy and Molly's best friend Emily. I also have Molly. Obviously, she was the only doll I still have after my dolls were donated. 2021 or 2022. I don't really remember when they were donated. I think it was 2021. But they were all donated. But I got Molly before they were donated because I wanted to bring her to my mom's house. And so I had her. She was the only one that was saved from the donations. So I still have Molly, but I loved Emily and Ivy as a kid. My brother had Julie. Julie is Ivy's best friend. So I had Molly and Emily. My brother had my mom's old Molly. I had my mom's old Samantha. And then my brother also had Be Forever Samantha. So we had like a whole story, I guess. They would like we played school a lot. But like I remember having a bunch of clothes my mom gave us whenever she was a kid, and then what we had growing up. And honestly, the fact that now that so into AG, I'm devastated that I didn't have all of those like dolls and clothes and stuff that we had as kids to really. So I would love to have them now, and I would just love to like still have everything I did growing up. But Whenever we had to move in with my grandparents, there wasn't enough space, so we had to move them like in storage, and then they were donated. So yeah, that was pretty devastating. But yeah, I've read a bunch of the books when I was younger, all the books that we had when I was younger. I read all of Molly's books, all of Samantha's, I think, all of Molly's. I've read all of Kit's, and just like every book that we've had growing up, I've read. But yeah, that's all I have for this video. But if any of you have any other questions that you want to ask, just like comment them. And yeah, just wanted you to know a little bit more about me and just be in general. So yeah.